Aloha everyone, I'm Flora Applewhite.
And I'm Vince Kiala Lucero. We'd like to welcome you to our potluck gathering. I'm sure you've all been to family or neighborhood potluck meals where everyone brings a dish. Well, in Hawaii, our potluck is like the meeting of the United Nations.
I think what Vince is trying to say is, for example, I'm half Japanese and half English and Italian. My mother was born in Japan and my dad is Italian. So for dinner, we could have rice one night and pasta the next. The best of two worlds.
In my family, even breakfast could be a blend of Hawaiian, Chinese, and Basque, which is a combination of French and Spanish. Can you imagine? Hawaiian lomi salmon omelet with Chinese tea and piping hot French baguettes.
There are 260,000 people, about 22% of the state of Hawaii's population, who are mixed, what we call hapa, born from different cultural backgrounds and traditions, while we've still preserved our individual ancestral roots.
Oftentimes, visiting family members have said that here, it seems we've preserved old traditions. Perhaps it's because many of Hawaii's people immigrated to the islands knowing they would never return to their countries of origin.
Over the past 2 centuries, people from many different cultures have immigrated here, and Hawaii has become the most multicultural state in the Union. In fact, here we have 9 times the number of ethnically mixed residents compared to the nation as a whole.
While Caucasians form the largest single ethnic group, they represent less than a third of the total population. Among the 50 states, this is unique to Hawaii, where 2/3 of the residents are non-Caucasian: Japanese, Filipino, Hawaiian, Chinese, Korean, African American, Hispanic, and Native American.
We'd like you to get to know more about Hawaii's local folks, so Vince and I have invited some very good friends to join us today.
This is Laura Lee Goss, our friend Brenna Subnet,
And this is Uncle Boise Rodriguez, one of the island's most beloved entertainers.
Aloha kakahiaka. It's a beautiful day in Hawaii. I grew up with a Portuguese father and a Hawaiian mother. All of my sisters and brother were all Hawaiian entertainers, have been for the last 50 years. We come from a matriarch family where Mama was the boss. My mother, the late Victoria E.E., she had the gift of E, which her memory. She remembered thousands of chants, meles, the kapus, and the counters that go with these chants. Our home was full of Hawaiian music. We grew up without television or computers. It was ukuleles, guitars, and bass, and a lot of music.
My grandparents and parents are from the Philippines. Once someone told me that whenever they walked into a Filipino home, there was a smell. I know that smell, it comes from the kitchen. Filipino cuisine was always on the table. This is bibingka and this is sitsaron, one of the common snacks that my Lola, my grandma, used to prepare weekly. In our neighborhood, we used to visit each other's homes and we got to taste the food and learn the customs and learn the language. And I think that makes us really unique here in Hawaii. We become multicultural from a very early age.
My great-great-grandfather came to Hawaii from China. He was a merchant who contracted Chinese labor to work in his rice fields. He and his partners turned many of the taro patches in Waikiki into rice fields to feed the Chinese workers. They also created duck ponds because the Chinese love duck, and I brought some duck with me today. In our family, Thanksgiving was always a major holiday with traditional turkey, dressing, the works. But we always had Chinese noodles. Gung Gung, my Chinese grandfather, was a wonderful chef who taught us that noodles represent longevity. So it's good luck to eat noodles on these special occasions.
Lori, what about your Korean heritage?
My grandmother came to Hawaii from Korea as a picture bride. She raised 4 children and went on to become a successful businesswoman. Koreans are proud people who value family, education, and hard work. They also love music.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. There's nothing better than sitting around, talking story with friends, especially in such a great setting like this. You know what this is really all about? Respect. It's the foundation of our islands. Respect for the land, for the ocean, for each other. Sure, we're proud to be one society, melting pot like nowhere else. But what's really important is how we respect our differences.
We are so lucky. In Hawaii, we all live beautiful lives, and we owe it all to the hard work and sacrifices of our ancestors. Times were tough then. The most valuable possessions our kupuna, our ancestors, brought to Hawaii were their customs. They shared these with their children and children's children, and it's up to us to keep them alive.
To a potluck, we bring more than food. We bring ourselves and our differences. We bring respect from the past and a commitment to carry our unique cultures into the future. Like we said in the service, chow down.
Mangantayon!
Itadakimasu!
My eye.
Bon appetit.
Aloha!